Welcome back to my channel, US Rare Coins News, Top 1. Imagine reaching into your pocket and pulling out a quarter that looks slightly different from the rest. The date doesn't show a single year. Instead, it reads 1776 to 1976. That one small detail connects you directly to 200 years of American history. Today, we're diving deep into the United States of America Washington Quarter $1776 to 1976, one of the most iconic coins ever produced by the U.S. Mint, and we're going to uncover what it's really worth and why collectors still chase it decades later. The 1776 to 1976 Washington Quarter was created to celebrate America's bicentennial, marking 200 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence in 1776. Instead of producing quarters dated 1975, the U.S. Mint released special dual-dated coins to honor the milestone. Every bicentennial quarter carries the 1776 to 1976 date, making it instantly recognizable. On the front of the coin, you'll see the familiar portrait of George Washington. His profile has appeared on the quarter since 1932, but for the bicentennial edition, subtle design adjustments were made to complement the special anniversary theme. The obverse still carries the powerful inscription "Liberty and in God We Trust," along with the dual date that makes this coin historic. Turn the coin over, and you'll notice something completely different from the standard eagle design used on regular Washington quarters. The reverse features a colonial drummer boy, a torch of victory, and 13 stars representing the original colonies. This patriotic design was created by artist Jack L. Ahr after a nationwide competition. The imagery captures the spirit of 1776, courage, independence, and the birth of a nation. These coins were minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Philadelphia coins carry no mint mark. Denver coins display a small D mint mark. San Francisco coins were struck in both clad and 40% silver versions and carry the S mint mark. This is where things start to get interesting for collectors. Most bicentennial quarters found in circulation today are copper-nickel clad coins. They were produced in massive numbers, hundreds of millions, which means they are still very common. If you find one in pocket change that has been circulated, its value is generally close to face value. However, condition is everything in coin collecting. A sharply detailed coin with strong luster, minimal contact marks, and crisp features can be worth more, especially if it grades at a high mint state level. The San Francisco Mint also produced special 40% silver bicentennial quarters as part of collector sets. These silver versions were not intended for general circulation and were sold directly to collectors. Because they contain silver, they carry intrinsic metal value in addition to collector demand. Silver versions in pristine condition, especially those preserved in original government packaging, can bring higher premiums. Proof versions were also struck, featuring mirror-like backgrounds and frosted design details. These coins were carefully made for collectors and were never meant for circulation. Proof coins in flawless condition are particularly desirable, especially when graded at the highest levels by professional grading services. Now let's talk about what truly drives value. Rarity alone does not make a coin valuable. Demand, condition, metal content, mint mark, and grading all play crucial roles. Since bicentennial quarters were heavily saved by the public as souvenirs, many uncirculated examples still exist. That limits how rare most of them are today. However, top-tier graded coins are a different story. When a bicentennial quarter receives an exceptionally high grade such as MS-67 or higher, especially from the Denver or Philadelphia Mint, collectors compete aggressively. High-grade registry collectors are willing to pay strong premiums to own the finest known examples. Another factor that can dramatically increase value is mint error coins. Off-center strikes, double dies, wrong planchet errors, and dramatic die cracks can turn an ordinary quarter into a collector's prize. Error coins are unique and often bring surprising results at auction because serious collectors appreciate their rarity and character. It's also important to clear up a common myth. Many viral claims online suggest that all 1776 to 1976 quarters are worth thousands of dollars. That is not true. The vast majority are common coins worth face value unless they are in exceptional condition, silver composition, or display rare mint errors. So how can you check if yours is valuable? First, inspect the mint mark. Look carefully under the date for a small D or S. Next, examine the coin's condition under good lighting. Are the details sharp? Is there strong mint luster? Are there heavy scratches or signs of wear? Finally, consider whether the coin might be silver. Silver bicentennial quarters weigh slightly more than clad versions and were primarily issued in collector sets that if you believe your coin is in extraordinary condition, professional grading may be worth considering. Certified coins often command higher prices because buyers trust the grade and authenticity. Now, after everything we've covered, the history, the design, the mint marks, the silver content, and the grading, let's talk about the numbers everyone wants to hear. While most circulated bicentennial quarters are worth only 25 cents, high-grade certified examples have achieved impressive auction results. One top condition 1776 to 1976 Washington quarter graded at an elite mint state level sold at auction for over $6,000. That's right. A coin millions of Americans once carried in their pockets reached more than $6,000 at auction because of its exceptional preservation and collector demand, and that is the beauty of coin collecting. Hidden among common change can be extraordinary quality. The 1776 to 1976 Washington quarter isn't just a coin, it's a tribute to America's bicentennial, a piece of patriotic art, and in rare cases, a serious collector's prize. Top 2, today, we're diving deep into the United States of America Washington State Quarter. 1999 Connecticut, a coin that launched one of the most successful coin programs in U.S. history, and might still hold hidden value. In 1999, the United States Mint began the historic 50-state quarters program. This ambitious project honored each of the 50 states in the order they joined the Union. The very first 5 states released that year were Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Georgia, and Connecticut. The Connecticut quarter holds a special place because it represents one of the original 13 colonies and carries a design that reflects deep American history. On the front of the coin, you'll see the familiar portrait of George Washington. His image has appeared on the quarter since 1932, symbolizing leadership and national unity. The inscriptions Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and United States of America surround the design, along with the denomination $quarter. Flip the coin over, and that's where the magic begins. The reverse of the 1999 Connecticut State Quarter features the famous charter oak tree. This isn't just any tree, it represents one of the most legendary stories in colonial America. In 1687, Connecticut colonists reportedly hid their royal charter inside the hollow of this massive oak tree to prevent it from being confiscated by British authorities. That single act symbolized resistance, independence, and the determination to protect self-governance. The tree shown on the coin is based on an actual historic oak that once stood in Hartford, Connecticut. Though the original tree fell in 1856 during a storm, its legacy lives on through this powerful design. The detailed branches stretch across the coin's surface, making it one of the most artistic and recognizable designs in the entire State Quarter series. Now let's talk numbers and minting. The 1999 Connecticut quarter was produced in enormous quantities. The Philadelphia Mint struck hundreds of millions of coins, and the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions as well. With such high production, most of these quarters remain extremely common today. If you find one in circulated condition, it is typically worth face value, but here's where collectors start paying attention. Condition changes everything. A heavily worn coin with scratches and dull surfaces will usually remain worth 25 cents. However, a coin in pristine, uncirculated condition with strong mint luster and sharp details can carry a premium. Collectors look for coins graded MS65 and above, where the surfaces are clean and eye appeal is strong. Then we have proof versions. The San Francisco Mint struck special proof quarters for collectors, including both clad and 90% silver versions. These proof coins feature mirror-like backgrounds and frosted details, creating a beautiful contrast. Silver proof versions are especially desirable because they contain precious metal in addition to collector demand. Another exciting factor is mint errors. The State Quarters program is well known for producing fascinating error coins. Off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, double dies, and even coins struck on experimental planchets have appeared in the series. Error collectors are always searching for unusual Connecticut quarters because a dramatic mistake can transform a common coin into a rare collectible. Point one important thing to understand is that rarity in modern coins often comes from condition rather than mintage. Since millions of Connecticut quarters were saved when they were first released, truly average uncirculated examples are not rare. However, coins graded at the very highest levels, such as MS-68 or MS-69, are extremely difficult to find. Even small imperfections can lower a grade, so superb examples become highly competitive among registry-set collectors. Silver-proof Connecticut quarters also hold value based on silver content. As silver prices fluctuate, the intrinsic value of these coins changes. However, top-quality proof coins with deep cameo contrast and flawless surfaces can command significantly more than their metal value alone. Collectors also appreciate this coin because it represents the beginning of a new era in U.S. coin collecting. The 50-state quarters program brought millions of new collectors into the hobby. Families searched pocket change. Kids filled map folders. For many people, the 1999 Connecticut quarter was one of the first coins that sparked curiosity about history and collecting. Now let's address the big question: can this coin actually be worth serious money? In most circulated conditions, the value remains at face value. Typical uncirculated examples might bring a small premium of a few dollars depending on grade. Silver-proof versions usually sell for higher amounts due to silver content and collector demand, but when it comes to top-graded coins, that's where headlines are made. High-grade certified examples, especially those graded at the absolute highest mint state levels, have achieved impressive results at auction. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. A 1999 Connecticut Washington State quarter graded at an elite mint state level sold at auction for over $10,000. That's right, more than $10,000 for a quarter originally worth just 25 cents. Top 3. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the United States of America Washington State quarter. 2022 p. A seemingly common coin that may hold surprising value for collectors and enthusiasts alike. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American coinage for over 90 years. First introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, this iconic design featuring the first president of the United States has graced our pockets, piggy banks, and cash registers for generations. Though the design on the obverse hasn't changed dramatically over the decades, the Washington State Quarters program, part of the larger America the Beautiful Quarters series, gave new life to modern quarters by celebrating the unique landscapes, history, and culture of each state. In 2022, the Washington State Quarter became part of this broader tribute to America's natural wonders. Struck at the Philadelphia Mint, that's what the P mint mark on the coin tells us. This issue carries forward tradition while highlighting the beauty and spirit of Washington State. Look at the obverse side of the coin, and you'll see the familiar portrait of George Washington. His profile is timeless, a symbol of leadership, resilience, and the foundational principles of the nation. Around him, the words United States of America and quarter dollar remind us of where this coin comes from and what it represents. Now flip the coin over. This is where the story gets truly special. The reverse design celebrates Washington State's rich natural heritage. While earlier state quarters focused on specific icons like the Charter Oak of Connecticut or the Boston Tea Party of Massachusetts, the 2022 Washington design embraces the breathtaking landscapes the state is known for. Snow-capped peaks, dense forests, winding rivers, and maybe even a glimpse of wildlife, the imagery evokes the spirit of the Pacific Northwest like a visual postcard. This artistic tribute doesn't just look good, it resonates with collectors and residents alike. Washington is a state of remarkable diversity: volcanic mountains like Mount Rainier, serene coastal shores, bustling cities like Seattle, and vast wilderness areas that draw adventurers from around the world. Capturing this sense of place on a tiny piece of metal is no small feat when it comes to value, though. It's important to separate fact from fiction. Modern quarters are produced in massive quantities. The 2022 P. Washington quarter is no exception. The Philadelphia Mint struck millions of these coins, and most entered circulation just like any other quarter. That means the majority of these coins you find in everyday change are worth their face value, 25 cents, but here's where things get interesting. Not all coins are created equal. coin collectors use a system of grading to assess the condition of a coin. The better the condition, the higher the potential value. A coin fresh from circulation, scratched, worn, and dull, will rarely be worth more than its face value. But a coin that has never been spent, with brilliant luster, sharp details, and no signs of wear, can earn a high grade from professional grading services. And those high-grade coins can be worth far more than you might expect. Then there are proof coins. Proof coins are specially struck for collectors and never intended for circulation. They feature mirror-like surfaces and finely detailed designs. Although the 2022 Washington Quarter proof versions were struck at the San Francisco Mint and carry an S Mint mark, they tell us something important, that this coin can be more than just pocket change. It can be a collectible piece with aesthetic appeal and market demand. Another exciting area for collectors is mint errors. Even in modern coinage, mistakes happen. Coins that are off-center, have double dies, missing mint marks, or other striking anomalies can be extremely collectible. Error coins often attract attention because they're unpredictable, unusual, and in many cases, genuinely rare. For the 2022 Washington Quarter dollar, error varieties can elevate value dramatically, especially if no two errors are exactly the same. Beyond condition and errors, collectors sometimes chase variety sets, coins grouped by mint mark, year, or special features. A complete collection of high-grade 2022 quarters from different mints can be more valuable as a set than individual coins on their own, but let's be clear, when we talk about most 2022 Washington quarters in circulation, the value is generally minimal. Don't expect everyday pocket change to suddenly bankroll a vacation or a new game console. The true value lies in exceptional coins, those with pristine condition, unique characteristics, or special collector appeal. So how can you tell if your coin might be one of those special ones? First, take a close look. Inspect the surfaces under good lighting. Do you see shine and crisp details, or wear and smudges? Compare both sides. Imperfections on the rim or lettering can impact grading. If you suspect your coin is in outstanding condition, consider consulting a reputable coin dealer or submitting it for professional grading. The grade it receives could significantly influence its value in the collector market. Understanding the market helps too. Modern coin values can fluctuate based on collector interest, economic conditions, and demand for specific issues. A highly graded coin might be worth a modest premium today, and even more in the future as interest in modern commemoratives grows. Now let's talk about the numbers that make collectors sit up and take notice. While the vast majority of 2022 Washington state quarters remain common, exceptionally high-grade examples have earned impressive prices at auction. In one notable sale, a pristine 2022 Washington Quarter dollar achieved an auction price exceeding $2,500. Yes, more than $2,500 for a modern quarter originally worth just 25 cents. That's the power of condition, rarity at the highest grades, and passionate collector demand. So the next time you stumble upon a 2022 Washington state quarter, don't dismiss it too quickly. Give it a closer look, because hidden gems sometimes hide in plain sight. Top 4. Today, we're going to take a super long, deep, and fascinating journey into the United States of America Washington Quarter dollar 2022 Maya Angelou, a coin that celebrates a legacy, tells a story, and in rare cases might even be valuable. Let's explore everything about this coin, its history, meaning, design, collecting tips, and what it could be worth. In 2022, the U.S. Mint launched an entirely new series called the American Women Quarters Program, a 4-year initiative designed to honor extraordinary women who helped shape American history. The very first coin in this program features Maya Angelou, the iconic writer, poet, civil rights activist, and educator. Angelou became the first black woman ever featured on a circulating U.S. quarter, marking a powerful moment in American numismatic history. When you look at a 2022 Maya Angelou quarter, you're seeing a coin that does more than just represent 25 cents. On the obverse, it still bears the portrait of George Washington, redesigned using a classic artistic interpretation that gives the quarter a fresh yet timeless look. On the reverse, it honors Maya Angelou with a dramatic scene. She stands with her arms uplifted, a bird in flight behind her, and a rising sun on the horizon, imagery inspired by her poetry and symbolic of her journey, resilience, and creative voice, this isn't just another modern coin. It represents progress, representation, and celebration of a woman whose words have moved millions. Angelou was best known for her groundbreaking memoir I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings and was a civil rights advocate whose work touched generations. Featuring her on a quarter was a meaningful tribute, and the reaction from collectors and the public showed just how special this coin truly is. Let's talk production and circulation. The 2022 P. Maya Angelou quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why it carries the P. Mint mark. The Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of these coins for circulation, far more than most people realize. Because so many were released into everyday use, typical circulating examples you find in pocket change are extremely common. That means if you pull one out at random, in most cases it's worth exactly what it says on the coin, 25 cents. Most circulated coins, even ones with the Maya Angelou design, trade hands at or near face value because there are so many of them in existence. But here's where it starts to get interesting: collectors and numismatists always pay attention to condition. A coin that shows heavy wear, scratches, or dull surfaces is almost always just worth face value. But if a coin has never been spent, with strong original luster and crisp details, that can make all the difference. A beautiful, uncirculated example can be worth more than face value, sometimes several dollars, especially if it receives a high grade from a professional grading service, and then there are proof versions and special mint issues. Some Maya Angelou quarters were struck with extra care for collectors, especially proof versions from the San Francisco Mint that were sold in sets. While these aren't part of everyday circulation, they're pure collector coins with mirror-like finish and enhanced detail. In typical collector markets, proof coins tend to be more desirable and often bring higher prices than standard circulation strikes. Next, let's talk about errors and anomalies, a part of coin collecting that always sparks excitement. Even modern coins can have striking variations, off-center strikes, planchet flaws, die cracks, or other mint mistakes that make particular pieces stand out. Sometimes these error coins can attract interest from collectors who specialize in oddities and curiosities. However, it's important to separate true mint errors from normal wear or damage after a coin leaves the mint. True errors that significantly increase value are very rare. Year after year, coin collectors also pursue high-grade certified coins. These are coins that have been professionally graded on a scale from 1 to 70 by companies like PCGS or NGC. The closer a coin is to perfect condition, grades like MS67 or MS68, the more collectors might be willing to pay. While most 2022 P. Maya Angelou quarters stay at face value in everyday change, the highest graded examples can become surprisingly collectible because so few survive in that condition. If you're thinking about collecting or selling, it helps to know what typical value looks like. Most circulated 2022 P. Maya Angelou quarters are worth around 30 to 40 cents, just slightly above face value for collectors who want nice examples. Uncirculated coins in brilliant condition might bring $1 to a few dollars each. Proof and specially graded coins often sell for a bit more, depending on the grade, but now it's time for the part you've been waiting for: real auction records, the cases where collectors have paid serious money for rare high-grade examples of this coin. Even though most of these quarters are common in circulation, truly exceptional specimens have broken expectations in the market. One of the most impressive auction results for a 2022 P. Maya Angelou quarter was a coin graded MS67 Plus that sold for over $2,375 at auction. That's right, more than $2,300 for a coin that started life worth just 25 cents. That doesn't mean every Maya Angelou quarter is worth thousands, far from it. But it does show how powerful condition, collector demand, and rarity at the highest grades can be. What looks like a modern quarter at first glance could become a prized collector's item in the right circumstances. P. Top 5. Today we're going to dive deep into the story, history, collecting appeal, and value of the United States of America Washington State Quarter. 2019 Lowell, one of the most compelling releases from the State Quarters program. To fully appreciate this coin, we have to go back a little in time. In 1999, the United States Mint launched a groundbreaking numismatic program, the 50 State Quarters program. For the first time in history, quarters featured unique designs celebrating each state in the order they ratified the Constitution or joined the Union. Over a decade, from 1999 to 2008, millions of Americans began paying attention to the coins in their wallets in a whole new way. Suddenly, quarters weren't just currency, they were tiny pieces of history. Fast forward to 2019, when the series continued with special designs honoring historic sites and stories across the country. One of those coins was the Massachusetts Quarter, featuring the dynamic city of Lowell. Known as the cradle of the American Industrial Revolution, Lowell earned its place on America's coins because of its deep influence on the nation's economic transformation. On the obverse of the coin, you'll find the ever-familiar portrait of George Washington, a design that has graced the quarter since 1932. His profile represents continuity, linking today's releases to nearly a century of American coinage. The inscriptions around him, Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, United States of America, and Quarter Dollar, remind us this is legal tender, steeped in tradition, but it's the reverse design that really tells a story worth exploring. The design celebrates Lowell's legacy as an industrial powerhouse in the 19th century. What makes this coin special is its depiction of textile mills, a canal system that powered innovation, and symbols representing the hard-working people who fueled America's first factories. The imagery on the coin isn't just artistic, it's educational. Every line and curve evokes a moment in time when water wheels turned, machinery hummed, and America's future was being forged in steam and steel. Artists and designers at the United States Mint worked to bring this story to life in a way that fits on a coin no larger than 24 millimeters in diameter. That's no small feat. The reverse design captures buildings, water, and motion, a visual narrative packed into a space smaller than your thumbnail. For many collectors, this artistic richness is what makes the Lowell Quarter so appealing. Now let's talk about production and circulation. The 2019 Lowell Quarter was struck at multiple mints, including the Philadelphia Mint, recognizable by its P Mint mark. The Philadelphia Mint produced millions of these coins for everyday use. That means most Lowell quarters you find in pocket change are common. They were made for commerce, not rarity, because they were widely circulated. Most 2019 Lowell quarters you find today hold face value, that's 25 cents. Even years after their release, these coins continue to move through everyday transactions. But collectors aren't just interested in coins that can buy candy or parking meters. They care about condition, rarity, eye appeal, and historical significance. That's where things start to get interesting. Condition matters. A heavily worn coin, one that's been in circulation for a long time, will generally be worth face value to most collectors. But a coin that has never been spent, with sharp details and full luster, can be worth more than 25 cents. Numismatists use a grading scale from 1 to 70 to assess a coin's condition. Coins graded at the high end, like MS-65, MS-67, or above, are considered uncirculated and can carry a significant premium over face value. This is especially true when collectors seek coins for registry sets, complete high-grade collections of every state quarter. A collector building a Massachusetts set might specifically hunt for the best Lowell quarters available, and that demand can elevate prices. Proof versions of the Lowell Quarter also exist. Struck at the San Francisco Mint with mirror-like surfaces and fine details, these proof coins were never meant for circulation. They were produced primarily for collectors, often sold in special sets. Proof coins generally command higher prices than their circulated counterparts because of their finish and collector appeal. Then there are error coins, unintentional quirks from the minting process that can captivate collectors. While rare, errors like off-center strikes, double dies, or missing mint marks can add serious numismatic interest. Some collectors specialize in error coins, and when dramatic mistakes appear, they can draw attention and competitive bidding. Another aspect to consider is metal content. While state quarters are composed of copper-nickel clad and do not contain precious metals like silver or gold, their appeal comes from story and condition. Unlike older silver coinage, these modern coins derive value almost entirely from numismatic interest rather than intrinsic metal content. So how do you know if you have a 2019 Lowell quarter that's worth more than face value? First, assess the condition. Is the surface bright and shiny? Are the details, like buildings, water, and lettering, crisp and untouched? Next, check for any unusual marks or errors that might indicate a minting anomaly. Finally, consider having your coin professionally graded if you believe it might be in outstanding condition. A high grade can make a significant difference at auction or in collector markets, but it's also helpful to know the current collector market. The value of modern coins can fluctuate based on collector interest and economic conditions. Some years, certain issues see higher demand because of their design or significance. The Lowell Quarter stands out as a coin with meaningful storytelling and historical context, a bonus for collectors who value narrative as much as condition. Now let's get to the part many of you are waiting for, the auction results. While most circulated 2019 Lowell Quarters are worth face value, and uncirculated examples may sell for modest premiums on online marketplaces, the truly exceptional pieces tell a different story. High-grade certified Lowell Quarters, especially those graded MS67 or above, have attracted serious collector attention. In one remarkable auction, a 2019 Philadelphia Lowell Quarter that achieved an elite mint state grade sold for more than $4,000. Yes. More than $4,000 for a coin that once circulated as everyday pocket change. That's the power of condition, collector demand, and narrative appeal. The 2019 Lowell Quarter reminds us that sometimes, even the most modern coins can capture the imagination, and the wallets, of collectors around the world. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the story and value of this fascinating coin, make sure to stick around for more treasure hunting journeys through history. You never know what might be hiding in your